Welcome back, everybody, to this special edition of Coronavirus Questions Answered. We now go to part 2 of my discussion with our Valley's Chambers of Commerce. My next question for all of you, how long do you anticipate that it's going to take for our businesses to fully financially recover from this crisis, and what will be the long-term impact? Nona Watson from the Palm Springs Chamber.
I knew you were going to start with me on that one, and I would have no guess how long this is going to take. I would imagine it's going to take quite a while for us to get over this and to get back to where we were last year, the beginning of this year. So I think it depends on the business, I really do, but I think it's going to take people a while to be comfortable. I think, though, the good news with this is that I think we're going to pull some drive market more than ever before. And I think we can celebrate that. I know I heard on the news that people are, traveling differently now. They're not so apt to get on a cruise ship or an airplane. And certainly we're blessed in Palm Springs that we're within driving distance for so many people. So I think our businesses and our city and our valley, we're going to get creative, and we're going to be able to pull that and hopefully have a great summer where usually we're slower in the summer. And that's my hope.
Katie Stice from the Rancho Mirage Chamber.
I think it's all about creativity, innovation. We are in Rancho Mirage specifically. I'm working on a 2 to 3 year plan with our city to help with recovery and economic development, knowing that's going to have to be a focus for the next 2 to 3 years. I don't think anyone really knows the timeline of how it's going to happen. We just know we need to work as swiftly and quickly and carefully as possible. And as Josh said, right with all of our elected officials to make sure that there's a voice of business constantly out there talking about whatever the current needs are at the time.
Pam Scannell from the Palm Desert Area Chamber.
Thank you. Yes, I think honestly, when you look at the EIDL loan, for instance, that has a 30-year payback. So you can expect that anybody getting an EIDL loan is going to be affected for the next 30 years. It's going to be incredibly challenging. It's going to be very difficult for people to recover. Not only that, but the employers are responsible for their employees, and any employee contracting COVID after they return to work is going to be able to claim against workers' comp. So workers' comp is probably going to go through the roof, and that'll affect businesses big time. So I don't think we can really predict all the repercussions that are coming. I think there are going to be a lot of them, but I'm very hopeful that we can think of very new and creative ways, as Katie was saying, on helping our businesses and remain the voice of business and the representatives.
Josh Bonner from the Greater Coachella Valley Chamber.
Yeah, so look, sometimes we suffer from recency bias. The truth is we have historical perspective that we can look at. This is not the first economic downturn. It certainly is unusual in the sense that it was a full stop put in place by local governance. But that said, we can look at our last downturn. It took us, 8 to 10 years to dig through that. We've had pandemics in the past that we've had to deal with. Forbes magazine released an article, I want to say it was last week, where they talked about it's probably going to be a 10-year cycle for us to completely dig our way out of this. So I think from the economic development standpoint, there is some context there that we can fall back on. Obviously, every situation has its own unique nuance, but we need to start doing that economic development groundwork now so that we can accelerate it. Unfortunately, historical perspective also tells us that Riverside County is sometimes first into a recession and last out. And that has to do with our tie to tourism and some of our other industry infrastructures. But if we use proper planning and we're aggressive in dealing with this, I do think we can try to accelerate some of that movement and get our economy moving quicker in the right direction.
Dave Powell from the LGBTQ Chamber of the Desert.
I think it's going to take us quite a while. Again, I think that it all depends as we are reopening our businesses, how soon and how with the volume of the businesses will be allowing. The restaurants and the bars, some of our smaller businesses that are so used to serving mass amounts of people, them having some restrictions on what they can do, especially our bars. Palm Springs and Cathedral City have two hub areas of gay bars and LGBT businesses, and that's going to be a challenge for them until the bars are able to open up and following all restrictions. We have one bar that's not says that he can basically only make it to July 1st unless they open up. So it's gonna be a while for them to be able to recoup these losses, pay back the idle loans, be able to bring their employees back. I'd say it's unknown, but with our slow summer coming up, hopefully the programs that we're doing to bring people back here will help a little bit, and opening up will help us too.
All right. I'd like to thank each of our chambers of commerce for taking part in this discussion on our Valley's businesses. I look forward to speaking with each of you again soon.